What's up, everyone? Charles Smith here with another story from my project in progress, Aesop the Athlete. So these are a collection of stories based around the fables of Aesop. They're one of my favorite collections that I've enjoyed reading throughout the years, and they center around animals and have a different moral at the end of each story. I decided to update them by making the animals into young athletes that play a variety of different sports, and I kept the moral at the end. So let's get to it. Today's sport focuses on baseball. The Serpent and the Eagle. There was no better player on the baseball field in the clutch than Eddie Gull. The hard-hitting and hard-throwing catcher for the Vipers always got the job done, no matter the stakes. It was his clutch walk-off home run that put the top-seeded Vipers into the championship game. Their opponent, the Highlanders, hit their way into the championship game. But Eddie helped keep them in check with great pitch calling, and by the top of the sixth and final inning, the score was tied 2-2. Eddie settled into his catcher's crouch behind the plate with 2 outs. The go-ahead run for the Highlanders bounced at third base, itching to come home. When the Highlander power hitter stepped to the plate, Coach Pent shouted, "We need this out, Eddie. It's on you. Get a strikeout from your pitcher, catch the pop-up or whatever, but we need this out." We need this out. Eddie knew what that meant. If the Vipers didn't get this out and the Highlanders went on to score, every single Viper would be paying for it in practice the next day. They would run and run and run some more. And if anyone passed out, everyone else would have to run extra for their fallen teammate. That was Coach Serwin Pent's way. Squeeze the life out of you and see how you respond. Well, Eddie responded by exploding out of his crouch on a pop-up. He threw his mask to the side and looked up into the blue for the little white dot. The ball lifted high and drifted hard to the right towards the Highlanders' dugout. Eddie raced to get underneath it. As he lifted his glove to catch it, his right foot gave way. Eddie had tracked the ball all the way over to the top of the steps of the Highlander dugout. The Highlander players scattered, hoping Eddie wouldn't catch the ball. And if he fell, that's on him, they thought. But just as Eddie caught the ball and missed the step, one Highlander player stepped in and caught him. Between the shock of catching the ball and almost falling down the stairs, Eddie couldn't say anything. So he just said, "Thanks," and scurried away. But he did catch the player's number as he ran off. "Thanks, number 12, Eddie thought. No runs scored, so no running. For now. Just 3 outs stood between the Vipers and a victory. A championship victory. A victory that Coach Serwin Pent felt was rightfully his. The fact that the Highlanders were tied with the Vipers made Coach Pent's blood run cold. "They don't even belong here," Coach hissed to himself. "Let's see if they can handle some real baseball." The first batter struck out easily, but the second managed to draw a walk. That brought up Eddie Gull. The Viper faithful got on their feet and started chanting, "Eddie, Eddie, Eddie." The player on first danced on the bag, clapping at Eddie to hit him home. He bounced back and forth and side to side, forcing the pitcher to throw over. The Viper dove back easily and once again clapped it up. Eddie stepped into the box knowing it was on him to get that player home to end this game. "Come on, Eddie, bring me home." The clapping must have rattled the pitcher because the first pitch sailed just off to the side of the catcher. The Viper instantly took off for second. The ball bounced hard off a board on the back fence and right back to the Highlander catcher, who threw out the Viper easily. 2 outs. 1 ball, no strikes, tie score. Sure, the Vipers could go into extra innings and possibly win later, but each Viper knew, especially Eddie, that if they went into extra innings, that would be considered a failure to Coach Pent, and failure meant running. Eddie didn't want that. He wanted to settle this right here, right now. So when a belt-high fastball crossed the plate, Eddie swung for all he was worth and connected. A sharp ping shot the ball through the sky, screaming towards center field. Eddie took off for first as the center fielder took off under the ball. The crowd cheered and clapped as the ball landed just in front of the fence. Eddie was well on his way to second as the center fielder made his way to the ball. He touched second and raced toward third. The throw went behind Eddie to the second baseman, who dropped it on the transfer. When the throw finally came, it was way off line, missing the third baseman completely. Eddie rounded third and raced home. Could he do it? An inside the park home run? It didn't happen much in the big leagues, but here in the Aesop Valley Youth League, it was pretty common. Even still, it didn't happen much in the playoffs, and never in a championship game. But there was Eddie Gull, the clutch player for the Vipers, racing home for the championship run on 2 wild throws. The catcher stood at home with his glove out, waiting for the ball and guarding the plate, just like Eddie would do. As Eddie raced home, he heard Coach shouting, "Venom! Venom!" Oh no, Eddie thought. Venom? Take out the catcher. Eddie's eyes narrowed, but when he saw the number 12 on the catcher's helmet, the memory of him almost falling down the stairs came rushing back to him. I would have fallen hard if not for number 12, Eddie thought. I can't take him out. Eddie barreled down the base path towards home as the catcher took in the ball. Eddie leaned to the right, making the catcher slide to the right. Then Eddie dove headfirst to the left of home plate, dragging his right hand across the plate as the catcher swiped down at him. Safer out. The field fell silent as all eyes turned to the ump. The only sound was Eddie's heavy breathing until the umpire waved his hands out to the side. Safe! The moral of the story is, one good turn deserves another. I hope you enjoyed that one. Be sure to check out the others in the Aesop the Athlete series, and I'll see you soon.